So a few prominent Democrats, among them Senator Slotkin from Michigan and Senator Kelly from Arizona, put out like a short video. Basically, the gist of it is that people in the military can disobey illegal orders. They don't do anything to define what an illegal order is or how a person should specifically determine what an illegal order is. Um, and they put themselves in a precarious position. Do I think it's probably a crime? I don't think so. But is it possible putting out a video asking people to disobey legal orders? Um, yeah, that's a crime. That's called sedition. Asking people to refuse an order that is lawful from their chain of command in the United States is sedition. You get 20 years in jail for that. At times, if it's an order that risks life or risks overturning the country, it could be treason and it could be a death penalty case. But that's so far fetched. It's very very improbable that ever happens. Of course, Trump looks at the video and he does what Trump does, which is exaggerate the case and go after the people and basically accuses them of treason and says they deserve the death penalty. And that's Trump being Trump, man. If he's anything else, he's bombastic. Has a good sense of direction, has a good sense of what needs to be done. Very pragmatic, but over the top on these type of things with over exaggeration of every single thing that he says, kind of on purpose because it draws a crowd. Now instead of talking about what Slotkin and Kelly said about you must disobey illegal orders, they're talking about what Trump said. And people don't like it, people do like it, but the focus is still on Trump, so the focus is on him, and he can talk about his policies. They're no longer talking about them. So on the other side of this, though, should a senator be asking military personnel to disobey orders, or even, it's very interesting because yes, a military personnel is allowed to disobey a legal order, an illegal order, not illegal. I think I mispronounced that. You're allowed to disobey an illegal order, but the problem is if it doesn't happen to be illegal, you're going to spend 20 years in jail. And so they're putting our military community at huge risk of court martials and long times in prison if they decide to disobey something that a court later finds as legal. The problem is there's a presumption of legality when your commanding officers give you an order. You don't get to presume that it's illegal because of your view of what you think the law is. These people, if they want to disobey an order, military personnel, if they want to disobey an order, need to go through the proper chain to disobey an order. So they should contact JAG, they should contact superior officers, and they should take the proper chain in order to be able to disobey an order. Telling them just to disobey illegal orders and not to obey commands and put other people at risk can have devastating consequences. If it ends up in loss of life, these people could end up with a death penalty for disobeying what ends up being a legal order. Because there's a group of 10 people and 2 of them decide it's a legal order, and then the other 8 don't have the personnel necessary to keep themselves alive, and those 8 people get killed because the 2 people disobey what they thought was an illegal order. Those 2 people have now become responsible for those 8 people's deaths under the federal rules of the criminal conduct rules, and they're probably going to get the death penalty for allowing those 8 people to die. There's very few times where military personnel should presume that an order that they're receiving is illegal, and so I don't think a senator should be getting on the airwaves and talking directly to military personnel and telling them to disobey illegal orders without some fairly detailed analysis, maybe even books and binders of analysis of how those people should determine what illegal orders are. You're emboldening people to endanger lives, to get people killed, to not properly defend the Constitution, to not properly defend the nation when requested to do so. It would and their purpose, as stated in their videos, to reduce the stress on these people. Can you imagine the stress on somebody when they're disobeying a lawful order of a commanding officer? You think that's less stressful than obeying it? It is crazy what these senators are doing. It would never happen, but Michigan and Arizona should consider impeaching these two senators. They definitely do not qualify to be senators after they're asking people, putting these military personnel that are usually fairly low-ranked military personnel that are in the middle of the battle and in the middle of the fight, telling them to disobey orders that could get people killed, that could get people and put in grave danger. It's a horrible thing to do to these military personnel if they're listening. You should not put them in that kind of position where you're expecting them mentally to determine what they think is a legal or an illegal order. They should not be in a position when they're being told orders to constantly be second guessing what the chain of command has brought to them. They need to obey the chain of command. Sometimes there might be something that's obviously illegal, but most of this stuff is in the chain of command, and let the courts figure out if it's illegal or not. I understand there's a case that they're saying that these military personnel are attacking Venezuela boats, and that these people are responsible for that and may have liability. That's just nonsense. That's just nonsense. That's these people making stuff up just to scaremonger people into disobeying direct orders of commanding officers. That all needs to be dropped immediately. I don't like Trump's rhetoric either. I don't like him calling senators treasonous. I don't like all of that. But I understand why he's over the top, because this video from Slotkin and Allen and all of these other House of Representative members that I'm just not going to list out here, but this video from them is caustic enough that it needed a blatantly exaggerated rhetoric response from Trump, because people need to know what Slotkin and Allen just did, and they need to know how much danger they're putting our military personnel in by doing what they're doing. It is crazy for a sitting senator to tell military personnel that they should start disobeying orders. Even if Slotkin thinks it's an illegal order, how are these people, these 18, 19, 20-year-olds, supposed to determine whether an order is legal or not? I mean, it's crazy for you to put it on them to mentally decide whether these orders are legal or not, and if they think it's an illegal order, are they going to abandon their post and allow their the other people in their unit to be murdered or killed because they think it's illegal for them to do what they've been commanded to do? It is a grotesque abuse of power of a senator to suggest that military should start disobeying orders because Trump is president. I don't think it's a crime, because I think they're sitting senators and they get to do stupid stuff and stupid rhetoric. I think Trump does the same thing all the time, and it's over the top and it's disgusting, but it's something we got to put up with in modern society, because that's where our politics are at. I would love for politics to calm down and for us to talk about what the right thing is to do, and for the senators to just sit down with Trump and try and figure out the right thing was to do, and just not to go in the airwaves talking to military and telling them you should start disobeying orders from your superior officers. So that's really the situation with the Slotkin thing. I'm from Michigan. I haven't said that online here very much, but there is a picture of Michigan in the background, so some people may have figured that out. So Slotkin's my senator, regretfully, and she votes okay sometimes, but in this instance, her rhetoric's over the top. She is a CIA officer. She knows the chain of command, and she needs to calm down and not keep putting military personnel's lives at risk by her crazy rhetoric about telling them to disobey orders. And I know she says illegal orders, so she's probably covered legally. You know what I mean? Don't obey illegal orders. Well, that's always true, but she doesn't give any basis on which a 19 or 20-year-old should judge whether an order is legal or illegal. Because of that, it's just over-the-top rhetoric that should be stopped. I'm hoping they'll delete it. I'm hoping they'll apologize. I will not, hold my breath until that happens. So that's my view on this. I mean, please subscribe to my videos. I'm going to continue to have these current events videos. I'm going to be starting up the Supreme Court videos to talk about the Supreme Court cases that are relevant and what's going on. And I'm going to continue reading the Bible and doing some of my Bible studies. Those those are three separate playlists that I'm compiling right now. Most of it's going to current events right now because I'm still building the forum, and we're moving in the right direction. Thank you for watching, and like I said, please subscribe to the channel.